Welcome everybody to CSCI 41 Data Structures. It is probably the most important computer science class you're going to take. The reality of the situation is that CSCI 40 is like Introduction to Programming. This is second semester computer science. And after you finish this class, you are going to be a programmer. Computer science is more than just programming. A lot of people think you're going to spend 4 years learning how to program. It's not true. You get 2 semesters of learning how to program, and after that, we are like, you know how to program. So when you take discrete math or whatever, we don't teach you like how to compile programs and all this kind of stuff. You're kind of expected to know how to do that, and you're supposed to use your programming skills to solve, mazes and things like that. So the goal of this class is to get you all competent. Like after CSI 40, you should be like barely competent at programming. This class, you're going to write code over and over and over again. And the goal is to develop those skills like lifting weights, putting things together, all of your skills you're going to practice over and over. You're going to learn these things called data structures, which are pretty important. And you're going to learn object-oriented programming, which is pretty important. We did a little bit of that in 40, but we're going to go hard into it this semester. And at the end of it, you're going to be competent. Unless you something goes wrong, you're going to be a competent programmer, and you're going to be capable of getting a job as a junior programmer. That is when I got my first job in computer science. I had finished this class, and I got a job as a junior developer, a junior programmer. A junior programmer is not expected to be a independent entity. A junior developer is somebody who has to work under a senior developer, because there's a lot of things you don't know. After 2 semesters of computer science, there's a lot of things you don't know. Like when I started, I was like, I don't know how to get a mouse click. That's not part of the standard library of C++. I have no idea. How do I play a sound? That's not in the standard library. How do I get a mouse click? All these really basic fundamental things that should be part of the C++ standards committee people, because mice are a thing, graphics are a thing, audio is a thing, not part of the standard library. And so I would have to ask my senpai, and he called himself my senpai, how do you do this? And he would show me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so as a junior developer, you're not supposed to be able to make a big thing on your own. You're sort of an apprentice, but you know enough to get a job and get paid money. And I was paid, reasonably well money, reasonable amount of money after just taking this class. And then working, by the way, also makes your skills better. So I highly recommend you go hard on this class. Go hard. Put in the time, put in the effort. It's not a class where you're going to learn things by just kind of going to lecture and kind of listening and not doing anything. You have to code, you have to program, you have to work constantly, ongoing basis. And at the end of it, you're going to be competent enough to get a decent entry-level programming job. And then when you get a job, then your skills get even better, because you start learning all those things they don't teach you in college, right? Like, how do you read a mouse click? Why do I not teach it? Because it's not part of the standard. Basically, what this class is going to go over is standard C++. It's going to finish your instruction in C++, but there's a lot of stuff that's really useful, like how do you make a window appear on the screen? How do you draw graphics? How do you make a farting sound when you click on a red button? All these things are not part of the standard. And there's all sorts of different third-party libraries and stuff like that can do it. We don't cover in this class. Sorry, take game development if you want to learn some of that stuff. Okay? So, you'll see me, by the way, looking over here and reading chat and things like that. So today's lecture is going to be procedural. We're going to be getting people on the server. We're going to be going over the syllabus. We're going to be talking about, not new material at all. We're just here to get you kind of comfortable and ready for the semester. If you're somebody who's watching this recording at home, you're not in my class, I would just skip to the next entry in the playlist, because we're not going to cover anything that is germane to you, unless you're in this class, in which case you probably do care about the syllabus and what percentage points are going to be given in each category and how to log in on the server and things like that. So Are you getting a programming assignment today? Kind of, but not really. It's out, but you're not. I guess. Sure, we'll say yes. Your first 2 programming assignments are actually out right now. Okay. But before, what's going on, Nico? But what we're going to go over today is, first of all, the syllabus, and then we're going to get you guys kind of on the server and familiarized and things like that. And I want to point out the first week, maybe 2 weeks of this class are going to be purely review of CSCI 40. Okay. The reason for that is multiple. First of all, there's students who have never taken C++ before. You can take a Java class and have that count for CSCI 40, and then you're like, what the hell is a cout statement? You know. There are people that have had other professors than me, and each professor has, their own ideas of what's important and what they teach and what they don't teach. And so this review is going to go over what I consider important. Other people disagree with me. That's fine. Computer scientists are all united in one thing. They think that their way of doing things is the correct way, and everyone else's is the wrong way. So, myself included. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm generally pretty tolerant of other coding styles, except when it comes to arrays. I don't think people should use arrays usually, like especially in a first semester class. Like, just use a vector. Just use a vector. Okay. And third, it's been a long winter break, and a lot of people took CSCI 40, and now it's a couple weeks later, and it's like, what is Hello World? So we got your back. Or maybe you took 40 and didn't do so well. I got your back. We're gonna go over all of C++ next class, not this class. This class, like I said, is just purely procedural. We're gonna go over the syllabus and things like that. Okay, get you on the server, get you editing files, compiling, that kind of stuff. All right, so let's get going. It's amazing how quickly the brain forgets. It's true. And I care about you guys passing this class. This class is considered a hard class, right? And for sure, if you look at like the dropout rate, it's nationwide. It's data structures has like a very high dropout rate. I don't want you guys dropping out. I want you guys learning the material instead. And I've kind of structured this class in such a way that I want all of you to learn the material and all of you to become competent programmers and things like that. I'm not here to punish you. I'm here to structure the class in such a way that I take all the material and just pack it into your brain, like, data structures, get in there. Object-oriented programming, get in there, and just downloading the textbook into your brain. That's the goal. That's the goal. At my college, UC San Diego, they have the opposite philosophy. This class is considered a filter class. The goal is to get rid of people that are unworthy, right? This class is designed to get out of the program as many people as possible because they don't have enough professors to teach. So this class, like, they don't articulate just this class. They articulate 40, 26, and 45. They do not count 41. The reason being they want everybody who comes to UCSD to take this class so they can get rid of the unworthy. And I don't have that. I don't have that philosophy. I want everyone to learn. I want everyone to pass. And it's because I'm dumb and I just add everybody. It's like, you don't have enough professors? Fair. It's fair. I understand. But I'm a moron. I just add everybody. I don't care. And the reason for that is because I auto-grade. Like, I wrote a program that grades the assignments, because that's the main bottleneck, right, is the professor's time grading. Because grading sucks, When you have to grade a project, like when I grade the role-playing assignment in CSCI 40, I get 50 role-playing games, and the role-playing games can take half an hour to play, like, and then I have to go through all the code, and like, that's not fast. Like, if you do the math on how long it takes to grade 50 projects, like, that's one assignment. And I do like 10, 15 assignments, I don't know, more, 20 maybe. It's time consuming. But one of the reasons why I auto grade is because that allows me to add everybody. Okay, everybody gets added. I don't care. There's not even a fire marshal limit, right? Because it's online. Normally in real life, there's a limit to like how many people you can pack into a room until the fire marshal gets mad. But online, I'm like, I don't care. Just add everybody. Everybody gets added. Who cares? The TA's time grading. That's true. Yeah, like when I was a TA, like we had 12 or 15 TAs, and each TA was assigned just 10 students, and we handled all the homework grading. But that was like for this class. For upper division classes, it's just the professor and maybe one TA, and so it takes time. And so I understand. Like I get where they're coming from. I'm not purely just throwing shade, casting shade on people. Okay, like I get it, but my personal philosophy is I just want all of you to learn and pass, and get a good job and transfer and stuff like that. Okay, so this class is both online and in person. You guys are obviously online right now. The in-person people, by the way, can watch these recordings, and if you're in person, you want to watch, absolutely. Everything's recorded. Attendance is taken by daily quizzes, and that's the most important thing that people care about on the syllabus is the grading scheme, right? So every class there's going to be a daily quiz posted, and you have until the start of the next class to take the quiz. Okay, so if it's today's Monday, there's a quiz already posted. It's not a normal quiz. We'll go over that later. But you have until Wednesday, noon, not 2:30, noon, because the two classes are the same. Noon on Wednesday to take the quiz. Okay, and by doing so, that counts as your attendance. So make sure you take the quizzes, even if you get a 0, even if you're like whatever. Open the quiz, submit, I get a 0. That counts as you being present for the day. Okay? And the reason why that's important is A, if you don't take the quiz, you're absent. And if you're not here today on the first day, you get dropped. Right? So it's really important you take the quiz for today. Super important, extra important, especially because it's 8 points, whereas normally they're 1. And like I said, we'll talk about today's quiz, which is weird and different a little bit later. And 2, if you miss 6 quizzes, you get dropped from the class. So don't skip them. It makes me a sad panda when I see like those hyphens, because that means that you didn't even go to the effort of like clicking on the quiz and hitting submit without even answering anything. Like that's a very low bar of effort needed. You know what I mean? Like even if you get a 0, 0 is better than a hyphen, because a hyphen means a 0 and you weren't there that day. It counts as an absence. You get dropped from the class. A year or 2 ago, I dropped somebody because he didn't take. He was just not taking the quizzes, you know, so he got dropped. And then I got this angry email from him saying that he was, I'm like, I sent you a warning email, and, like, I don't know. It's like, the quizzes are really important. Please do them. And the quizzes are going to be normally, not today, but normally, the quizzes are going to be on what we talked about that class or on the previous class. And the reason being, I'm testing your sort of like short-term, medium-term recall. I'm trying to see what got stuck in your brains. Did you remember the material? And what I do is I look at the percentage correct of every quiz to estimate, did they get it or not? Like I go over for loops and I post a quiz and I'm like, hey, how many times does this for loop run? If like half the class gets it wrong, I'm like, okay, I need to talk more about that. So there's no pacing in this class. Like there's no, like a lot of professors post a schedule and they're like 2 weeks from today, we're going to be talking about functions, and 3 weeks from today, it's going to be vector. Like, no, I have topics that I talk about, but the pacing depends on you, how quickly you learn it. If you learn it quickly, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to bludgeon you over the head with something you don't understand. But if you're not getting it, I will go over it again. Okay. And so the quizzes, and so please take the quizzes and also try to do them, because if like everyone's like, I'll just take a 0, that's going to lower the pass rate artificially. And then I'm going like, all right, well, I guess you guys don't know it. And you're going to be like, but I know it. Take the quiz. Okay. So quizzes is very important. And they're a really good learning tool for you, because they're a way of you seeing, did my brain retain what I thought it retained? It's really easy to think, oh yeah, I know that. I remember functions, sure. And then I'm like, all right, write a call by reference parameter. And you're like, oh, I don't remember how to do that. Because your brain will trick you. Your brain never tells you when you forget something usually. Right? Like, oh yeah, I know functions, And then you get a quiz question, you're like, I don't know that. And so that's why I do these quizzes, is it reveals the gaps in your memory, because your brain will just wallpaper over all those gaps. Everything you forget, wallpapered over, you know? And the less you sleep, the more you forget too. I'm reading a book right now on sleep. And if you want to retain new material, you need to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Hardest thing for a computer science major, I know, but 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. If you don't, you're just gonna be throwing away. Like, you study hard, and then your brain's like, oh, I can only record a little bit of that, and then the rest gets pitched. So you're literally wasting your time if you don't sleep enough. So make sure you get a lot of sleep and record all that. Save it all into your gray matter. Okay? Click the save button. Don't close the browser without saving or something. Okay? You have a question about lab. There's no difference between lecture and lab. Okay? You will be doing lab time during lecture time. You'll be doing lecture time during lab time. There's absolutely no difference. Fridays are just longer. That's the only difference. So this class is 2 o'clock to 3:20 on, or 2:30 to, sorry, it's 2:30 to 3:50 on Mondays and Wednesdays, and it's an extra half hour longer on Fridays. Okay. So, does that make sense? So there's no difference between lectures and labs. All right. Then he leaves a bad rate my professor saying he focused on video games too much. He actually left even worse rate my professor, but they actually deleted it because he was salty. Like, I've never seen rate my professor delete a review before, but they did on that guy. Pretty sure it was him too. It's like I drop him and then worst professor I've ever had in my life. Okay, so. People online can go in person. Yes. Online, in person's all interchangeable. It's nice being in person. Like today was my first in-person lecture in 2 years, and it was nice to be able to actually walk around and see what people were doing on their screens. I can't do that online, and so for you guys online, you're going to have to be proactive. Like, if you can't log in on the server, you got to tell me. Otherwise, the semester is going to suck for you because you're not going to be able to do any homework because you can't log in on the server. You know what I mean? So post questions on the lecture room during lecture hours. We got a help center that's open 24/7. There's usually a tutor or somebody to help out 24/7 on the help center. Excuse me. If you're getting a error message or something, then you don't know what it means, just post on the help center. Like, I don't know, I'm getting this weird compiler error, and somebody will help you. We have a lot of help available in this class. Min Corelli is your embedded tutor. Min Corelli, you've posted your... is it one of the what, yes, no quizzes? No, not today's. Did you post your schedule? And then yeah, in addition to Min Corelli, there's a lot of experienced students who, through the goodness of their heart, like, we're not paying them or anything, they're just awesome people. Like Shami, I think McCohen's on here. Did I see Hazelton and Mr. Bell was here earlier? I don't know if he's here now. I don't see him here. Now Vargas is here. There's a lot of Nico. Nico is our... Muya is here. Mueller is here. Yeah, a lot of experienced students are here today. And they hang out. They're good. They're all awesome people. And they'll answer questions. Like, if you have any questions and I'm lecturing, a lot of times I just look over and be like, yep, they answered it already. You know, if not, I'll answer it. So where's Corrente? I don't know. Does the in-person class provide computers? Yes. We have a bunch of Alienwares with decent monitors on them. Yeah, it's a fairly decent computer lab. I'm looking to upgrade it because the graphics cards are 960s, and that's 3 generations out of date, and 60 series graphics cards aren't that good anyway. So I'm trying to get Nico. Are we going to get a class set of 3090s, Nico? Oh, Nico's here. Yeah, it's been outdated, but for this class it doesn't matter because we're on PuTTY. Okay, so grading wise, the quizzes are 10% of your grade. You'll be doing lots and lots of programming. Like I said, this class is all about the programming. 60% of your grade is from your programming assignments. We have a late policy. The late policy is as follows. You can turn one assignment in the semester, one late. When you want to do so, you go into the tutorial center, which is both online or in person, and you say, I would like to use my last chance, and the tutor will go through your code and they'll do a code review with you, and then they notify me or you notify me that I'm using my last chance on FizzBuzz or whatever, and I go in and I give you the points. So it's halfway between a strict policy, no late work, and halfway between that and a very flexible policy of like, yeah, turn it in whenever. And the reason why I do this is because, like, when I do turn it in whenever, like I did for game development last semester, there were a number of students who were just like, I'll just wait to the end of the semester and do everything there. And you don't retain anything. Like, your gray matter doesn't retain things when you do it all at once. You need to space things out over the semester. You need to do a little bit of work every day. That's why I have daily quizzes. You need to do spaced repetition every day, a little bit of work every day, and then that gets engraved into your brain better. If you wait to the end, and this guy, like, I had one student who like every 2 hours he was turning in a new homework assignment. He was just going through like assignment 1 through. I was like, bro, like, come on, no, don't do that. So so rather than that, this class you get one late assignment. So it's kind of a little bit nice, a little bit mean. I don't know. There's no ideal there, but you get one. Okay. My stream went blank. My stream is still running. Oh, Minkrelli's went blank. I see. Okay. You didn't use your last chance last semester? Yeah, sorry. And yeah, you can always message me on Discord. You can message Minkrelli or Krente, or probably most of the tutors don't mind, either on Discord or just post on the Help Center. There's a lot of help available for this class. And the point being, this is considered a hard class. It's not exactly hard. It's hard if you wait to the last minute and you don't ask for help. Okay. So for the homework assignments, if you want to pass them, start early. And then when you start early, you know when you get stuck and you have time to get unstuck. If you wait to the last minute, yeah, you're gonna fail. Unless you get it done. I mean, if you wait to the last minute and finish it, more power to you. If you wait to the last minute and you get stuck, then you get a 0, and it sucks. Okay, especially when it's like something really trivial, like a missing semicolon or something like that. You know, so don't ever start a homework the day before it's due. You will be unpleasantly surprised. Definitely not a class to procrastinate in. Okay. All right. If you make a header file, the autograder will collect it. Yes. Okay. 10% of your class grade is going to be through the textbook. The textbook will be going up probably after I sign off today. There's no readings just yet, so don't worry about that just yet. But by the textbook, it'll be live probably in an hour or two. I just got an email from them saying it was ready. And then finally, we do these things called competency exams in this class. A competency exam is a replacement for midterms and finals. So rather than a midterm or a final, what you have to do is demonstrate competency in a topic. So every time you finish a big unit, like we're talking about linked lists or vectors or something, you take a competency exam. The competency exam is a test, reasonably difficult, medium hard difficulty. And if you get 75% or better, you are deemed competent in it, and you get 100%. So it goes up 100%. And there will be 5 or 6 competence exams through the semester, and there's no final in this class. There's no midterm. They're kind of like mini midterms and finals, I guess. But the good news is that you can retake them. Okay, different questions, but you can retake them. And so if you take the competency exam, you get a 50%, you're like, I want to do better. And so you study vectors or whatever it is, and then you take it again a week later. They go up, take 1 goes up, then a week later take 2 will go up, then a week later take 3 will go up, then a week later take 4 will go up. If there's a take 4. There's not always a take 4. It depends. I kind of watch how students are doing. So if you fail take 2, then you can take 3, but to take 3, you have to go in to the tutorial center. And you're like, yo, I failed my linked list competency exam twice. I need you to explain this to me. And then Min Corelli or one of the other tutors, there's like 5 or 6 TAs for computer science. Like, we got you covered in this class. Like, I don't know if you guys appreciate just how much support our college, how much money our college is putting in to helping you guys. When I was in college, there was no tutorial center. I mean, there was, but it was only math and English. You know? So if you got a compiler error, your algorithm's crashing or something, it sucks to be you. You know? So you'd spend 8 hours, you know, staring at a program, changing every line, trying to figure out what's causing the crash. So, none of your... they should have transferred some of your computer science classes, at least in the past they did. Yeah, okay. Here's... CSCI 40 will slam you for not starting with enough time. How much is the textbook? It's like 70 or something like that. Maybe it's a little bit cheaper, maybe 58. There's no Labs. Okay, so competency exams, and then if you pass the second time or the third time, then it replaces your grade. So you just get 100%. And so ideally, you'll get 100% in the competency exams. It's a free 20%. The daily quizzes, they're not easy necessarily. Usually you're going to miss points here and there. That's why I offer a lot of extra credit in the class. So I usually teach 2 or 3 meditation workshops per semester. I'll probably do martial arts this semester again. It seems like a good time to do martial arts. We give ACM talks. Like last semester, the Computer Science Club, the ACM, did a lot. Like there was a lot of students who gave talks last semester, and those add to your quizzes score usually. Okay. And then for programming, half of them, I don't know if it's exactly half, but half your points are going to be for programming assignments you did yourself, and half your points are going to be for group projects, well, groups of 2. Okay. Stanford, in this class, 100% of their stuff is pair programming. I don't like that necessarily because it allows somebody who doesn't know how to program to pass. You know what I mean? So I require both individual and pair. But pair programming is if you get a good like partner, you know, where you like bounce off each other and it's not just like one person doing all the work. Like if you have a good balance of work, it's actually really useful because you have somebody to like, hey, how do I do this? And they're like, oh, it's this. And you're okay. And then they're like, how do I do this? And you help them. And what does this error mean? And so like if you get a good synergy going with your partners, then it's great. It's horrible though when one person is procrastinating, the other person's starting early, or there's a personality conflict. Like it can go bad, but I will let you pick your own partners mostly for this class. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No class next Monday. All right. So syllabus is up on the syllabus section. Yep. Okay. So let's get you guys up on the server. Anybody who's adding, you need to message me the following. You need to give me your last name and your student ID, and I need to make an account for you on the server. You're not going to be able to log in until you do that. So so our server looks like something from a 1980s hacker movie or something like that, but this is something called a terminal interface or console, or there's different words for it. It looks scary to people that have never done it before. If you've only done like Visual Studio before or something, it looks horribly antiquated and old and out of date. But the reality of the situation is that most most, not all, but most computer science people, once they learn the terminal, it's really hard to use a GUI. Not because it's hard, but because it's so inefficient. It's so slow. Once you learn how to edit files using Vim, like it's really rough. Not like trying to do code editing in like Notepad or something. Like you're like, give me Vim again. You know, it's like even when I use Visual Studio, I install a Vim mode for it so that I can edit text files more quickly and efficiently. So the terminal is all about efficiency and speed and stuff. I don't know. It's good for you. Also, as Min Crowley pointed out in the in-person section, if you know how to use Unix and you know how to use it and program in it, it's a 5,000 on average pay differential. Because there's not a lot of people that know how to use Unix these days. A lot of people just are Windows only. And so it's actually worth money, like $5,000 a year to learn how to use Unix and things like that. So I got some private messages from people here. Give me 1 second. I guess I'll just pause the recording for a second because I need to make accounts for people on the server. So just I don't know, take a 5-minute break. Come back at 3:30. Okay. Okay. So that took a while to add everybody, but let me make everybody's accounts now. Sudo create class CSCI 41. Okay. So everybody who added is now on the server. So how do you connect to the server? First of all, you guys should have gotten an email from me a couple days ago explaining all the steps you have to take to get ready for class. Discord, obviously, you figured that one out. You're all here. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you're watching the YouTube video. I don't know. If you're watching the YouTube video and you're not on Discord, make sure you join the Discord. The link was emailed out to all of you, and it's on Canvas on the modules section as well. So when you go to Canvas and you go into the modules is like the center, the headquarters, the main place. You should be checking it every day, every other day. The README file has all the information you need to get going in this class. Bio of me, bio of the TA, link to the tutorial center and stuff here. The textbook, that link's going to be updated in a couple hours. Like I said, I just got the email from Zybooks that it is now set up on their end, so I'm going to fix that in a second. So if you're using Windows, you need to download PuTTY, and if you're using Mac, you need to download iTerm 2. And that's how you're going to connect to the server. The server is a virtualized cloud server. It's a Linode. It is a I don't know how much detail you guys want, but it's basically a server in a data center in Fremont somewhere. I've never physically visited. I've never seen the server. As such, like there's no, like it's virtualized, so they can actually move it from one hardware to another if they want to, which they do occasionally. And then you're going to use PuTTY or iTerm to connect to the server. Okay. And so what happens is this: when you launch PuTTY, you're going to get a window that looks like this. And is Bell here? No. I'll go over the Mac thing in a second then. What you're going to do is you're going to type in csci4x.com, just like that, as the host name, csci4x.com. That's the host. You click open, and then you're going to type in your username, and you're going to type in your password. Okay. Your username and your password is your last name underscore your student ID. And when you do that, for the first time, it's going to go through a password change process. About a week in, I run a password cracker on everyone's password, and anyone who has a weak password, I give them a random password, essentially. So you need to pick a reasonably okay password. And then after you reset your password, it logs you out. So it's going to, after you go through that password reset process, by the way, yeah, passwords don't echo any characters on the screen. See, that confuses some people. They're used to seeing like asterisks appears or whatever. Security measure, it doesn't show any characters on the screen when you type a password. So after you go through the password reset process, it's going to quit. And then you're going to do the same exact thing, log in again, and you're going to be it's presented with something that looks like this. So that's the server. And if you have trouble logging on, if you pick a new password and immediately forget it, message me and I can reset your password for you. I want everybody to go on the server now. Everybody please log in. If you're on a Mac, you're going to run iterm2 and you're going to type the following. That's how you connect. So username is obviously not username. You're not going to type username. You're going to type Kearney _12345 or whatever. Okay. And when you do that, it's going to ask you for your password. You type in your password, and there you go. It'll log you on. If you type in the wrong password too many times, it'll ban your IP address. So I'll probably turn that off for the next 10 minutes or so. Okay, so I've turned off the thing that'll ban your IP address if you guess the password wrong too many times. But normally it's on, and so if you try guessing a password 4 times on your account, and you get it wrong 4 times, it'll ban your IP address for 15 minutes. So don't do that. Especially not when it's 15 minutes until the deadline or whatever. Yeah. All right. So what Aaron's talking about is a year ago, in spring of 2021, when you took IS50B, we made a Doom client, right? So you can use the arrow keys, walk around, remember that? Use WASD, right? Turning left, walking forward. Completely terminal-based, Doom client. Kind of fun. We did that in 2 hours. So, Moya here was my co-pilot as we coded up a 3D client inside of a terminal out of the 1980s. So, yeah, that was cool. That was a fun thing a year ago. All right, so who forgot their password already? All right, okay. No, Lopez, you have not logged in yet. So that's your username and password. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause the stream now while we fix people's login things. So when you log in, it will print a random quote. There's a Unix program called Fortune. You're taking yourself far too seriously. And it just generates a random quote for you. And what I do is I run it into Cowsay like this. I pipe the output of Fortune into Cowsay. And, oh, Lord, you'll contract a disease. And so it'll give you a random quote every time you join the server. It's supposed to be funny. Today is the first day of the rest of your life, or inspirational, I guess. It's not customized or personalized to you. I once had a student get mad at me because the cow said something like, look over your shoulder or something. And like she did that and I was standing in the back of the classroom and she's like, that's creepy. I'm like, I didn't do it. It's the cow. The cow said it, not me. It's just a rare disease. Yeah. So, yeah. And can always pipe that into lolcat so you can get nice, colorful cows and things like that. Let me put it this way. Today is going to be a learning experience. Perfect. That is perfect for first day of school. Okay. So screenshot that. There you go. Today is going to be a learning experience. That's the best cow say I've ever seen for CSCI 41. Okay. So let us. Top secret. Okay. So stream has been minimized. Net hack. Okay. You have not done the quiz yet. Yeah. So let's talk about the quiz first. We're going to go over time today, I guess, because, I mean, if you want to leave, it's fine. You can pick up the rest of the recording later. But before we do anything else, let me talk about the quiz. So on the modules, which again is the central headquarters for this class, there is a assessment quiz. Okay. This is not a normal daily quiz. We can't have a daily quiz for today. We haven't talked about anything yet. So what this is, it is a final for CSCI 40. It is a final. It is not a final. Like, you don't get points or whatever. But it's essentially a final for CSCI 40. It's reasonably difficult. It's not easy. It's 8 points, so this counts as 8 of your daily quizzes. So make sure you do it. And the good news is you can retake it as many times as you want. And so I want to see every person in this class having an 8 out of 8 on this quiz. And I did this deliberately because it's kind of disheartening when you like put up your first daily quiz and they get it wrong and they have a 0% in the class. Like, I have an F, you know, even though it's only 1 point, you know, I have 0 out of 1. No, you know, so the goal here is to start you all with 8 points. And so if you miss an occasional daily quiz here or there, it'll dip your score a little bit, not enough to matter, you know. You can retake this over and over again. And the way that it's set up is there's 8 topics from CSCI 40 that I picked out as being important. How to make a variable, how to do couts, how to do algebra, if statements, loops, functions, vectors, classes. And there's going to be 2 questions on each one. And what you're going to do is do your best. And if you get something wrong, just retake it. And keep retaking it until you get 100%. But here's the thing. Like, if there's something like, you're like, yeah, I'm not getting that. Mincorelli is here. And Hazelton is here. And Bedencourt. And Muya. And a lot of Mr. Bell. There's a lot of people who can help you. Just ask for help on it. I don't want you asking for help on the test itself. The test is like, the whole point of the test is to find out what you know, right? Because for some of you, it's been like 2 years since you took CSCI 40. And so we want to see what's in your head and what's not in your head. Don't use Google. Don't go onto the server and don't ask people. Don't ask the TA. Just do it. Just take the thing, because it's not going to penalize you. You can just retake it, right? The whole point of this is to find out where you're at right now. And if you are like bad at something like for loops or whatever, then ask Mincorelli or any of the other millions of people that are here to help you, myself included. Like, hey, I need to go over for loops again, right? And then he'll sit down with you and go over for loops, because you need to have all of 40 in your head to do 41. Like, if you don't know how to make a variable, like CSCI 41 is going to be really, really bad. Like, you're gonna have a bad time if you don't know how to make a function. Like, it's gonna be a bad time. And so we're gonna spend the first week or 2 of this class just going over all of CSCI 40, and you can think of this thing as like a diagnostic test to find what is still up in your gray matter up here and what's not. And if you get 100%, cool, more power to you. But if there's something you're weak on, like classes or vectors, or like maybe your professor never went over vectors before, that's fine. It's fine. You get all those questions wrong. It's fine. You can just retake it, right? Just retake it. Get it right the next time. Infinite retakes. So, like I said, I want to see everybody with 8 points out of 8. But I want you to like write down. Like, if there's anything like you don't know, like write it down. Like, I need to go over call by reference parameters. Write it down. get help on it, you need to be solid. You need to be at like 100% on CSCI 40 stuff, and then 41's not that bad. But if you like don't know how to make a variable, like it's a train wreck on top of a train wreck on top of a train wreck. It will not go well. Okay, so like I said, I want every person to pass this class and be competent and be good, and this is a big part of it. Okay, so if you cheat, I mean, you could probably look up the answers or something. Like I didn't take them from anywhere. I was up till 2 a.m. making all the questions for it. It's a giant test, by the way. There's a test bank that it pulls questions from and stuff like that. If you cheat on it, then like, what's the point? Like the whole point is to find out what you need to work on, right? So all the questions can be done in your head, right? I just want you to look at the code and run through it in your head and be like, all right, that loop's going to run 3 times, that loop's going to run infinite times, You don't run it on the server, don't ask people for help, just find out where you're at. Okay, it's just 3 points for everybody. It's technically due on Wednesday, but it's because Min Crowley might get busy helping people. Technically, you could take it through Friday, and there's no penalty or anything like that for late work. But the deadline is Wednesday because I kind of want to see where everyone's at on Wednesday. Because on Wednesday we're going to go over all of C++. It might extend into Friday too, because we're going to compact a semester's worth of lecturing into a class or two. Okay, and so I would like for everybody to have taken the diagnostic by Wednesday, and then I can look at the categories and find out what you guys know, what you don't know, and then I can customize my lectures to that. So you can't see the class yet on Canvas. If you got an add code, then it should update at midnight. If you added it on WebAdvisor, it should update at midnight, and then tomorrow take the diagnostic. It's not a big deal. I noticed the capital S. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So then there's going to be a couple programming assignments coming up. I guess we can talk about that. Yeah, might as well. So once you're on the server, let's do a little review of Unix. And if you've never done Unix before, that link right there. First 3 chapters of it takes an hour of your life. It will make you bigger and stronger and more physically fit. You need to know Unix for this class. I don't teach it. I'm going to teach you like the basics, but it's just, you just go through the tutorial. It's an hour of your life. And like last semester, I still at the end of the semester, I had students asking me how do I delete a file in Unix? It's it's all the base. Those how do I rename a file? All those things are here. Okay, and the semester will just go a lot more smoothly if you know how to do that. Okay. So when you log on for the first time, let's become when you log on, you're gonna see that screen with a cow. And Sally, what do the things say to you out of curiosity? You're growing out some of your problems, but there are others you're growing into. That's funny. That is too funny. You were dishonest, but never to the point of hurting a friend. That is amazing. Okay. Okay, so you log in. This is what you're looking at. Let's go over Unix in a nutshell, what you need to know for this class. So, first command, ls, shows you all the files and folders in the current directory. Okay. If it's got a slash after it like that, it's a folder. If it's a file, let's make a file, main.cc, whatever. Then files are in white, like that. And folders are in that kind of periwinkle, blue, purple kind of color. And it has a slash after it. The slash means it's a folder. Okay, so command number 1, ls. Command number 2, cd. So ls stands for list. It lists all the files and folders in the current directory. To change directories, use the cd command. So let's go into FizzBuzz. And you noticed how I hit tab there? You don't need the slash. Okay, tab speeds up your life. Okay, hit return. And ls again, and you can see what's in that folder. So cd is change directory. It's like when you double click on a folder in Windows Like you got your Windows thing here, and you double click onto videos or whatever. That's what CD is like. Okay, it's like going into a folder, and then ls shows you all the files that are in that folder. Okay. And so what I want you to do is to cd into fizzbuzz, and then you're going to see there's a couple files in here. There's fizzbuzz.cc, there's a readme. Every homework assignment you do in this class is going to have a readme file, and the readme file has all the directions for the homework. Okay. And then you're going to do, she made 2, that's interesting. She had a hello world. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So you should just have fizzbuzz.cc right now in that directory. Okay. So command 1, ls, command 2, cd. Command 3, editing a file. Now, if you've never used Unix before, for this week only, I want you to use a program called Nano to edit the files. In general, though, you should be using Vim to edit files. But we're throwing enough at you right now. I'm not going to do the Vim lecture yet. Min Curley is going to post a video on how to do Vim soon. SL. Steam locomotive. There you go. So, yeah. Okay. So if you've never done it before, use nano and type nano main.cc. This is the name of the file. We're going to be editing a file called main.cc. And nano is a very simple text editor. It's not very good at programming, but it's simple. And so if you do that, then that will open up a brand new blank file. And then I would like all of you to type hello world, the program hello world, into this. And I don't know if I want to pause the stream. We're kind of over time already, but edit the file, and I'll just do it. I'll give you the answer. You can pause the stream right now if you want to not see the answer and you want to do it yourself. There's hello world. And in Nano, the way you save and quit is down here at the bottom left corner of the screen. It is Control X. Control X, do you want to save? Yes. File name, main.cc. There you go. And so that file now contains hello world in it. So Unix command 1, ls to view the files and folders, 2 to cd, 3 nano to edit the file, and by next week that should be vim to edit the file instead. Command 4, compiling. How do you compile the thing? Type compile main.cc, just like that. There you go. And now you will see that there is a program in that directory called a.out. And if you type a.out, it will run the program. Command number 5, a.out. Okay. And so what you're going to be doing in this class over and over again is you're going to be editing a file, save and quit, compiling the file, running the file. Oh, it didn't work right. Edit the file again. Save and quit, compile. Run it again. Oh, it didn't work. Edit, save, compile, run, edit, save, compile, run, edit, save, compile, run. It's a loop. You're going to do that over and over again. CD and ls are just to get into the right directory. And so for your first homework assignment, which is fizzbuzz, you're going to get into the fizzbuzz directory by cding into it, like that. And then you're going to edit fizzbuzz.cc, save, compile, run, save, compile, run, save, compile, run, over and over and over again. So we'll talk more about the homework assignment on Wednesday. But if you want to get started on it, there's 2 homework assignments that are already out. Don't panic, though, if you don't know how to do them. We'll talk about them later. Fizzbuzz will be due next Monday, and Zeta will be due next Wednesday. But I pushed them out just so that, some students like getting an early start on things. So they're there. They're there for you if you want to work on them. But if you don't remember C++, don't worry about it. It's A-OK as well. So the command for compiling, you can either use G++. G++ compiles the program. I have a shell script that I wrote called compile that does a couple static analysis checks on it, so it looks for common bugs. You can use that or G++, either's fine. If you're beginning, compile is probably a little bit better for you, because if you make a simple mistake, I wrote this program here along with a bunch of students of mine, and what it does, it looks for the most common, 30 most common mistakes that new programmers make, and it will tell you, and it'll write a little paragraph saying, oh, you did this, don't do that, do this instead. In more complicated programs, it tends to generate a lot of false positives. Like, did you mean to do that? Yes, I did. You know, but for you might want to compile using it. And if it generates too many false positives, like, yeah, I wanted to do that, then you can switch to G++ instead. All right. I can never remember how to exit Nano. It's Control X. It's in the bottom left over here. Control X. So I like for all of you to write hello world, compile it, run it, just get there today, and then if you want to start working on FizzBuzz, have at it. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday. Okay. Today's class is really just about getting you on the server, reminding you of the 5 commands in Unix, which are ls, list files and folders, cd, change directories, nano file name, edit file name, whatever file that is, replace it with main.cc or fizzbuzz.cc, whatever the file you want to call. Edit file name in nano, which sucks, switch to them as soon as possible. Compile it using G++, file name, or compile file name. Turn the source code into executable. And to run it. So you type a out to run it, or you can just type a. It's an alias. So that is our class for today. What did people use before Vim and VI? Before, you're going back old school. Bill Joy, who was one of the founders of Sun Microsystems, wrote VI like back in the day, like I'm tempted to say like late 70s almost. Before that, VI stands for visual mode, because before that they didn't have a full screen text editor like that. They used a tool called ed, which is single line Vim. So it shows one line at a time. So, and before that, I think there was a tool called E. And so there was E, then there was Ed, then there was VI. It was designed for the terminal days when, like, you had a typewriter, and so the typewriter would print out, everything you did. So it would be wasteful to show the whole file, right? And so you would use Ed to say go to line 5, and then edit line 5 to do this, and it would go like that. And then once we started having these things, these terminals, then Bill Joy wrote VI, visual mode. So you can see the whole file at once. It's cool. And then Brad Molinar wrote Vim, which is an improved version of VI. And then NeoVim is in Vim, right? Is a improved version of Vim. So I'd probably recommend using NVim, I guess. Arguably a little bit better than Vim, but I still use Vim myself. Still can't get on. When is the lecture going to be posted? You have to go. I typically start uploading the videos immediately after class gets out, and then it takes a while to upload to YouTube, and yeah, it's usually in the afternoon or evening sometime. It just kind of depends how long things take. Vim Tutor is another good thing to know. Vim Tutor. And so that teaches you Vim if you want, but Mincorelli is going to teach you the basics. Mora, you still can't get on. All right. Nope, you still haven't changed your password. So that's your username and password. So change it before this goes live on YouTube, because anybody in the world will be able to log in as you. So have fun. Yep. Well, that's your username and password. Everyone knows it now. So log in quickly. It's a speed run. So Maura, are you trying to connect using PuTTY, or yeah? So I'll show you how to do it then. So open up a new PuTTY window like this. The host name, csci4x.com. Open. I'll change the font to be bigger. That. And then you can save that as a session if you want, so you don't have to change the font every time. Okay, so log in, Mora. Password, same. Logs you in. Type in your current password, same password. New password is puppy. Retype new password, puppy. I must choose a longer password. Okay, whatever. But that's the idea. So type in a longer password. And then once you go through the password reset process, it'll log you off. And then you can log back in with your new password. So for those of you that are seeing the error message in Vim, I screwed up. I pushed out a copy of my vimrc to all you guys because you were asking for it. And you don't have Solarized installed. It's a color scheme that I like. And so what you need to do, Muya posted the answer earlier, Shuk, by the way. You need to go to the bottom of your vimrc file. A vimrc file is the configuration file for Vim. So Vim, your vimrc. It'll give you an error message. Ignore it. Go to the very bottom. And the very bottom here has the Solarized stuff. Delete, 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 delete. Delete the bottom 3 lines. Save. Problem's gone. Okay. So that's it. It's not accepting your name and ID. I don't know if you have an account, McCohen. I'll need to add one for you, I guess. But I don't think you're in 41, so that's why it's not letting you log in. But Mora, yeah, I don't know. You're gonna need to screenshot your thing to me, because maybe you're typing a capital M or something. This is one of the reasons why in person is nicer, because you just walk by and like, oh, yeah, you forgot the underscore or something. Okay. So that is it for today. I will hang out and help Mora and anyone else who has trouble logging on. Like I said, today is just purely procedural. There's no computer science, knowledge being imparted. Just get online. I want you all to write hello world, get it compiled, get it running. That's your thing. And if you want to start working on the homework assignments, there's FizzBuzz and Zeta to wet your whistle if you want to start coding. So thank you, everybody. I'm excited for the semester. I love how many students there are in this class, honestly. Having, this many people is kind of fun. So we might have to do this double streaming thing. But it seems to be working out pretty well. So thanks, everybody. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace out.